I wasn't going to go this early into my Latin, but I think we got to. Isn't that great? I'm going to quote Latin while using horrendous grammar. I think we have to. So here's the Latin phrase, right? It's like a cliche, if you will, from Latin. Post hoc ergo propter hoc. It's one of the only Latin phrases I know. And what it means is after this, therefore because of this. Getting deep. Here's what that means. It means that an event happens, and then anything that happens after the event, our brains want us to think it's because of. Right? So if I break my foot and then I have 9 consecutive bad days, my brain is telling me it's because I broke my foot, when in actuality, to be completely honest, my day wouldn't change a ton if I were on crutches. It would just take me longer to get places. Like the overall thing, it's not the cause. It just seems like it's the cause because the event happened. So when something happens, like the Canes clinch the playoffs with the win against Washington, and then they kind of get smoked in their next 3 games, our brains are saying, well, it's because you clinched the playoffs against Washington that you've gotten smoked the next 3 games.
So perceived cause and effect.
It's exactly. It's post hoc ergo propter hoc. It's after, therefore because of. And there's a few different ways you could look at it, right? Or the few different ways your brain can trick you into it. The clinching of the playoffs, then 3 losses. It's very easy to say, well, they must have taken their foot off the gas. They must be protecting themselves. They must be not going as aggressively as they were because they've already made the playoffs. There's also a side note of, well, what happened at the end of that Washington game? Right? There was a UFC match, right? There was more penalty minutes assigned to the Canes in a home win than in any home win in franchise history, right? There were multiple fights, multiple controversies. And what else is happening? This Thursday, meaning tomorrow, they're playing Washington. So our brains are going, they must be distracted. They must be thinking about this rubber match. They must be, physically just they got their mind off the hockey and onto this other thing. And that's why they've kind of gotten smoked in all 3 games. But it's not always the case, right? The thing that seemed to happen at the turning point isn't always the cause. Just because it happened after doesn't mean it's happened because of. And actually, maybe I'm too close, right? And I open the door to that. I follow the Canes, obviously, in very, very great detail, and you get to know some people. But I just have faith in the Canes culture that I don't think they're by any case like, oh, their heads are in the clouds because they made the postseason. I think they're aware after being in the postseason in the last 6 years and not getting where they wanted to go that they're not celebrating or heads in the clouds or all right, we're there. I think they're still locked in. And there's enough guys on the team that have played enough hockey that a big fight, you put that and you flush it, you move on to the next game. Not afraid, you're not thinking about getting your lick back, you're not doing it, you're playing hockey. If a fight threw you off your game, first of all, everybody would fight you because that would be on the scouting report. And other than that, I mean, hockey is tough. And I don't want to make it that simple, but if I'm looking for a reason why the Canes have struggled the last 3 games, and I know there's going to be overreactions in every direction, and some of you might say I'm overreacting. If you are looking for a reason as to why they've struggled the last 3 games, I'm not necessarily looking for the between the ears psychology right now. I'm looking for a hockey reason. I'm looking and saying, well, okay, I can do some math here. I can do simple addition. Over the last 3 games, the 6 forwards that skate on your top 2 lines have 3 points, 1 goal combined. I don't think that's because they clinched the playoffs. I don't think that's because they're distracted by a fight. I think there's probably hockey reasons. One of which might be, not their normal lines, and Svech isn't there, and Roslovic's having to center, and all of these things. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's because guys like Hall and even Jankowski, I know he's not in the top two lines, but maybe they showed up and brought that new kid fresh energy, and everybody was very excited, and they were very difficult to predict, and they scored a bunch, and now as they come back down to earth, the offense is coming back down to earth. Maybe that's it. Maybe, and I say this with just enough respect, but also enough seriousness for the situation, maybe Pyotr Kochetkov isn't stopping the puck enough.
There's a little of that too.
And every athlete, actually, no, every athlete, if you play a team sport, there are certain positions that if they aren't playing well, the rest of the team gets real low on confidence, right? If a pitcher is out there and can't find the strike zone, you're going to see the rest of the team just, again, not check out, not do any of that, just your confidence dips a little. If a quarterback comes out and throws 2 picks in the first quarter, confidence is going to dip a little bit. And if your goalie's not playing great, the guys in front of him, you'll notice. So maybe that's it. All I know is at this time of year, how many games do they have left? 4? 5?
6?
Feels like 4 or 5. When you get to this point in the season where there's only a handful of games remaining in the season, you want to be peaking. By the way, we split it. There's 5 games remaining.
There we go.
I said 4, you said 6. As a team, we're always
6 going into last night.
As a team, we're always right. You want to be peaking. You want to be on the way up. That's not what we're seeing right now. And Rod Brind'amour, after the game, acknowledged that these games have been okay, but they have to get back.
They're looking a little similar. It's not like terrible, but it's we got to score some goals. Obviously, that's been the deal here. It's not giving. We gave up too much early. I thought like quality. It wasn't a ton, but it was quality, and can't do that to a team like that. They got some real snipers, and you saw it. They just put it in their net. So it's then you get behind, and then it kind of we're chasing a little bit, trying to do a little too much, and that's what happens when you're not scoring. You start pressing a little bit, and that's clearly what's happening.
Start pressing a little bit, and that's clearly what's happening. Rod acknowledges there's been a letdown since clinching the playoff spot. Again, he's going to be asked all the questions that people are thinking. Here's Rod after the game.
We got another level, that's for sure. It's obvious, and we've taken a little breather here since we kind of got in. You could feel it. I guess it's. I don't want to say it's kind of expected, but we got to snap out of it here quick.
There's a difference between taking a breath and not being like locked in on game day, right? There's a difference between knowing, okay, we made it, and that being the cause of you not playing well. I have no doubt that they, took a minute and understand where they are, but I just refuse to look at a game like last night where you get shut out by a team. I mean, Reimer's not exactly, prime Hasek back there. Like you get shut out by a team that simply shouldn't shut you out, and I'm not going to sit around and put it as like, oh, well, it's okay because you're a little distracted. Oh, it's all right because, no. There's something hockey going on. I don't pretend to be enough of an X's and O's expert or a scheme expert to be able to point and diagnose the symptoms of and root out the cause. But there's something going on here that they have to fix, and they have 5 games to do it. Or, maybe a game or 2 into the postseason before it becomes absolutely dire.
I think they'll be fine. I'm trying not to panic and overreact. That's the thing. I'm not going to overreact. I know it's 3 straight losses. It's not good, but I think there was a natural letdown coming off of just the emotion of that game against Washington, and then hey, we got a playoff spot. Washington's pretty much out of reach, and New Jersey's not going to catch us. So we're pretty much locked into what we're doing. Can we just go ahead and get to the postseason now? It's real easy, like Rod said, to quote, take the breath and relax.
And I'll even add to that a little bit further, just to like give the full context. I don't want to say boring opponents, but it's not like the teams they've been playing have been the ones that you get ramped up for. On the road, kind of, right? Kind of like just games. So yeah, I'm not expecting them to go with their hair on fire, but I would have expected better play than the last 3. They had 1 game, all right. 2 games, ooh, all right. 3 games, all right, guys. Let's hey, right? It's that fake calm. Hey, guys, let's pick it up, right? Let's get going. Hey, clap.
It's amazing. Here's the thing in the NHL though, is that Buffalo's beaten in recent games Tampa, who's competing for playoff positioning right now. They've beaten Ottawa, who's trying to hold on to a wild card spot. They've beaten Washington. They've beaten the Senators actually twice. They've beaten the Winnipeg Jets. Like, these are all recent wins in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Not even 4 weeks. Last 2.5 weeks for Buffalo. Like, they're actually beating good teams, even though they themselves are terrible when it comes to the standings.
And that builds into what I'll say next. This will be my last point. Any one of the last 3 losses, I think, is absolutely a nothing burger, right? Losing to Detroit, well, Detroit was desperate and scrapping. Losing at Boston, well, it was the second half of a back-to-back. Boston was on a 10 or 11 game losing streak. You just clinched the playoffs. Like, that's to me a very easy, we showed up sleepwalking and got beat game. Oh, darn. Buffalo, you just brought it up. They can beat anyone on any given night with the talent they have. They're not bad.
They've won 8 of 9 now.
Any one of those I'm looking at and saying no deal. When you string 3 of them together, you start looking like, all right, what's going on here? If they don't show, tomorrow there should be a little extra juice.
Yeah.
If there's not a significant amount of juice tomorrow is when you start to really go, how long's the postseason? How much time do we? All right, let's get a little breakdown camp going on here. Let's see everybody. Let's have a heart to heart. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, tomorrow might be the game that gets the juices back flowing again and gets them ramped up.
Would be nice. And then the Rangers right after that, and there's some at home, there's some juice.